All right. Good morning. Hi, and welcome to episode 3 of Coffee Talk Live. My name is Connie Pastorius. I am the showrunner here at the Strong as a Mother Facebook group and owner of Pastorius Fitness. Today, I am caffeinating and hanging out with professional organizer Drea Montali. Good morning, Andrea. Andrea or Drea?
Andrea, whatever. Dr. Dre, all of the above is good.
Oh, I like that one. I like that one. Awesome.
How's it
So
going?
it is so cold. It is so snowy, but like if it's going to be winter, it might as well be like 6 to 12 inches of snow, right?
Absolutely. And I'm going to apologize. I'm going to apologize in advance for any snow blowers you might hear. But our neighbor is literally, God bless him, snow blowing our whole block. So I apologize if you hear that in the background.
It's New York. It's always a snowblower or a street cleaner or someone's car
Exactly.
alarm or just someone yelling. So it's nice background noise. Actually, where I'm at the lake house right now, it's almost too creepy quiet. I found like I just need a police siren or something to lull me to sleep at night or in Astoria, I have an apartment and I have upstairs neighbors. So anytime there is a weird noise, I always attribute it to him, like them. So it's never weird. But here, I'm like, who made that noise? What is that?
That's so funny. And I'm always like, even if I hear a weird noise, I'm like, oh, the neighbors are downstairs too. Like, they got me. I can go back to sleep.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I feel super safe, like in New York, and there's obviously there's no reason to be worried here. Like I think coyotes are like the biggest concern, but I still haven't seen them. I got my two big dumb dogs protecting
Nice.
protecting my yard. Anyways, I'm so excited to hang out with you because this has been like a year in the making. This conversation and getting to know you. Um, so much I keep going back with my coffee talk conversation guests to the beginning of COVID when we were all rushing to, I don't know, like make the most out of the time that we had, or like how can we, help people? And that's kind of how we got connected
Yeah.
because I was like, oh, we're stuck in our apartments, like I'm terrible at organizing things. This girl's got her stuff together. Like she's always like showing up on Facebook and giving all these great ideas. So like let's connect. And then February 1st, 2021, we finally get to having a conversation. So here
I
we are.
crazy. I know. I really feel like it was so hard because I feel like I was super in the mindset of I need to make something work virtually or I need to still be there for my clients somehow. But then you're also like, I need a timeout to try to process what on earth is happening right now. So it was hard. Like some days I felt like I was super introverted and I was like, I can't talk to anyone like what is happening in the world. And then other days I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to post something super motivating on Facebook, Instagram about decluttering while we're home. It was really interesting how many people did reach out because they were at home with their, significant others, their family, their kids, and it was super easy to turn the house upside down. So luckily people were, still asking me questions and I was able to kind of support them virtually.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And that's kind of what we're going to get into today. So, kind of before we go any further, tell me what you're drinking today. What's in the cup?
I am drinking Nespresso decaf coffee because it's really funny that you do coffee talks because COVID kind of gave me anxiety and I found the caffeine kind of amped it up a little bit. So I've been caffeine free for a few months. So coffee is my favorite drink in the world. I can drink coffee all day long, but I kind of cut back on the caffeine this year. And I have to say, I feel great. So I'm drinking a decaf Nespresso blend with steamed almond milk.
That's excellent. And your mug is awesome.
Yes, it's from
Mine's a
West
little,
Home. I got it as a Christmas gift, but
mine still has the extra anxiety on the outside because it is caffeinated. I found this was like on clearance at a Hallmark store I went into, and I was like, that's got me written all over it.
I love it.
I got I got a 10-cup coffee maker for Christmas for this lake house, and it like I wanted a thermal carafe because again, the house is so cold, and I have to have hot coffee. Like I'm so tired of microwaving it like 1,000 times. But now we started making like 10 cups of coffee at a time instead of like our pour over, which is like 6 cups, or French press, which is 4. So I don't know if I'm doing
Right.
myself a favor or uh, a, a disservice, but I'm on the La Colombe train still. Still one of my favorite coffee roasters. My brother-in-law, we got him like, he's just started getting into coffee. Like he just recognized there's this whole wide world of different kinds of coffee. So we sent him just like a gift subscription to their coffee beans. And one thing we're benefiting is that like when he finds one he doesn't like, he gives it back to us. He's like, I don't like that one. You can have it. And we're like, all right, I'll drink it.
That's such a great gift idea. I love.
Yeah. And I think I have this conversation with my neighbor all the time because she's amazing. She's a stage crew manager for Broadway, and her husband works in the Carpenters Union for the Met Opera. So they have just the best stories, and they've been here for like 40. They've been in New York City for like 40 years, and we're having this conversation about how before Starbucks changed the face of coffee for the whole planet, there wasn't good coffee. Like in New
Right.
York City, it was like Dunkin' Donuts, Bodega coffee, like it was just hot bean water
Yeah.
and like nothing. And she was saying how like the musical stars and all the performers lived on like Bodega coffee and cigarettes. Like that was it. That's all they ever ate, drank. So times really had changed, and developing like Starbucks, for whatever opinion you have on it, like they changed everything with coffee culture, for the good for me in my opinion. But now there's just so much more to learn, and I like go elbow deep into coffee the way people go into wine, which is why my talk show is Coffee Talk. But
Yes.
now I want to talk about you. So tell me about your business, Dream Organization, and specifically, I want to hear a little bit more about how it evolved once COVID again changed everything for us as well.
Yep. So, long story short, I have a background in retail. Um, I love visual merchandising. That was my favorite thing to do when I worked in retail, was change the mannequins, change the window displays. I could honestly do that for hours and hours and hours. And then a family friend approached me and said that a company called California Closets was hiring closet designers. So a light bulb went off in my head. I was like, oh my gosh, I can merchandise people's closets. Like this is so my dream job. Um, and there it definitely involved a little bit of that. However, it was a lot more construction based. We're designing closets, we had to deal with contractors, all this stuff. So I felt like even though I loved building and designing closets, which is something I still do as part of my business, I really liked being knees deep in the chaos of messy spaces and putting them back together like it's a retail store. So while working at California Closets, like, sometimes people were spending crazy amounts of money on closets, like $80,000 closets, but then like kind of just throw all their stuff back in. And I was like, wait, this is crazy. You spent so much money. Why are all your fancy shoes like being thrown around? Like, we have to make this look beautiful. And I started kind of helping people just put their closet systems back together. And then I realized that's what I love to do. And for me, I just sort of find that when you are more organized in life, you just have so much more time to do the things that you love. Like, I hate when clutter and stuff and cleaning consumes too much time in my life. I want to be able on weekends to kind of enjoy, go to brunch, hang out with my friends, not feel like, oh crap, it's Saturday morning, my house is flipped upside down. Like, I need to spend 5 hours cleaning right now. So that's a little bit of a background about how I started my business about 3 years ago. Now I'm working all over New York City, Westchester, Connecticut, Jersey, Long Island. And I don't just work on closets, I'm also doing kitchens, pantries, garages, attics, office spaces, storage units, especially in New York. Yeah. And during COVID, I was super nervous. I said, oh gosh, who on earth is going to have a professional organizer come into their house to touch all their stuff right now? And I was like, that's it. My life in business is over. I need to figure this out. I need to like be a fully virtual company. But, by June, I would say people were like, all right, I can't live like this anymore. Go get a COVID test. We'll leave. We're going to be at our house in, Pennsylvania or that wherever they were. Like, just go to my house by yourself and like, please help fix everything. So I was still super busy, which, I was happy about, obviously.
Yeah, and that's incredible to see, like, you know, it's hard being a business owner. Anybody who's ever gone off as an entrepreneur on their own knows this. And, global pandemic aside, it's hard to grow your business. But then you get this massive fork, this massive wrench thrown into your whole business plan, and you're like, how do I make money? How do I like keep this going? And this is like the most overused word of like 2020, but you kind of pivoted. I'll
Yeah.
only say it once.
Yeah.
Uh, and you made it work, and you understood that there's value, which
Yeah.
is kind of why this conversation was important to me. Because to me, like, organizing your space and knowing where things go is taking a proactive approach to your life. And that's the whole foundation of the way that I coach for fitness, nutrition, wellness, everything. And with your things as well. Like you said, you might want to, for example, get a workout in, but you walk into your bedroom and you're like, oh my God, where are my yoga pants? Like, where are my sports bras? Is this clean? And then you're smelling dirty laundry. And then 30 minutes later, you're like, there goes my window. So
Yeah.
it's exactly why I wanted to, bring you on. And, anybody who's watching live, take advantage of being here and hanging out with us. Post any questions you have in the comments, and we can answer them for you in real time. But while that plays out and we see who's hanging out with us today, tell me a little bit about how you think decluttering helps, with mental health.
Right. So there's so many answers to this question, and we only have 30 minutes today.
Right.
So, but there's a few things I've noticed personally in my life, which I help clients talk to. One of them is like when you wake up first thing in the morning, you're hopefully rested, feeling fresh, and then you don't know what to wear to work. You can't find what you're wanted to wear to work. You, like you said, you don't know if something's clean or dirty, and then you're trying to make breakfast and you can't find the thing that you need to make breakfast with. That's already like starting your day out so stressful. And I just think it's not necessary because life, this MTA is stressful. Commuting to work is stressful. Work itself is stressful. Like dealing with kids and school and all this other stuff right now, remote, like there's plenty of stresses in the life. Like I just try to say that I think picking out what you want to wear for work in the morning doesn't need to add more stress to your life. Um, and I also noticed it's funny, and I'm sure you as a fitness professional also have come across this, but I didn't necessarily realize when I became a professional organizer and started this business that you're kind of like a therapist at the same time. Um, I mean, the amount of couples who've reached out to me because they just don't see eye to eye when it comes to like cleanliness or keeping things tidy, to the point that they're like thinking about separating and breaking up. Um, or like you said, kind of putting yourself last and not taking that class, not eating healthy, not taking care of yourself because there's so much other stuff to do. I think when clutter and like disorganization starts triggering, like trickling down into those areas of your life, I think it's definitely time to make a change.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you definitely touched on like a few important things with people's emotional instability, and being stuck in a shoebox sized apartment for so long. I mean, I I bought a lake house during COVID because
I renovated, well, not during COVID, but
I saw
post-COVID.
your
My husband
floors.
and I were like, okay, we're gonna be here a long time. Like, we need to make this space work a little better for us for sure. So I
Yeah.
totally relate.
Yeah. and and understanding that, like, where you live is an outward reflection of you and your mental state and where you're at. And to have things that you love in your home but you can't see it, or that it's strewn about on the floor, like, what I know that like seeing that and living in that kind of environment, it's not healthy. It doesn't feel good. I mean, there's like energies that you feel when you walk into a room, and it's your place. And going just like very lightly into like yoga philosophy, the people have heard about like your chakra systems and the energies that you have in your body and its relationship to the universe. But like the first one, the most grounded, basic chakra at your sacrum, at your tailbone, is your belief that you belong wherever you're at. So if you're walking into your home, you're one safe place in the whole wide world, and you don't feel good there, that's that it really, like you said, it trickles it, and it goes into every part of your life. So I think organization has been a big, like a booming a booming I guess part of the whole
Industry.
wellness. uh
Oh, and it's funny you bring up wellness because I did do a yoga teacher training. At one point, I was really into holistic health. I still am, but not as like a business. And yoga, Pilates, meditation, all that stuff. And it really does all tie in together. Like, I truly believe that taking care of your space is definitely an area of wellness. Just because, like we were just saying, I mean, it can affect so many things in your life: stress, health, relationships, just like overall anything that literally has to, even saving money. Like, I can't tell you how many times when I'm editing and helping people declutter, how much money they're just like, I can't believe I spent all this money on this one thing that I have in 5 different areas of my home and I forgot it's there.
Yeah, and you brought up money, which it had me thinking that like to hire a professional organizer could end up saving money because you kind of like you forget what you have.
Yeah,
And whenever, yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but my whole, every time I meet with the client, I always say my goal is to help you save time, money, and stress. you know, 3 important things that we all need in life. And I definitely truly believe whether it's investing in a closet system, working with a professional organizer, doing your own research and executing it yourself, all those things will just be added back to your life.
Yeah. I mean, one thing when when people start a program with me, or they're like, I just lost this much weight, I feel different about my body. I say like go shopping in your closet. Like go completely inventory the fitness clothes that you have. See if you have sports bras that fit. Like I had one of my moms in my groups posted that they have a ridiculous amount of bras because between like before having kids, breastfeeding, wherever you're at postpartum, anybody I think who's a mom has like 20 different sizes. And you don't want to get rid of them, right? Because you spend really good money on it and then you don't know what you actually have. So, like, I have a whole container of like breastfeeding mom size bras just in a closet, tucked away somewhere, not very organized. But, I'd say like go shopping with the stuff you have. And then if you want another pair of yoga pants, if you want to, go Lululemon route, if you want to go Fabletics route, whatever it is, like, pick a budget, see what you actually need, see what fits, and go from there. So yeah, knowing what you actually have is really important. And one thing that like I also bring up is this very polarizing idea of feeling too attached to your stuff, because you have a business where you manage people's things. I have a business where we work on our physical selves. But there's a very common theme, and you might know this in like Lululemon, from Lululemon culture, that like, oh, how can you be a yogi if you're and spend like $80 on a pair of yoga pants? Like that doesn't sound very yoga like. And my response had been, I might have thought differently in the beginning, because I'm like, yeah, you should wear like sweatpants or be naked and still be able to teach yoga. But the thing is, at the end of the day, like we can do whatever we want. Like I think it's the most empowering to say like, you make your money, you do whatever the heck you want with it. And the key there is to just not feel like less of yourself if you're not wearing the Lululemon pants, if you're not wearing the special sports bra or whatever.
it's funny because I actually worked for Lululemon. That was one of the places I was a merchandiser. So I stand by their products so much. And I will even say sometimes that one pair of $80 yoga pants versus the 3 or 4 pairs you're buying for like 15, 20 bucks that you end up throwing out after a year because like the seams are falling apart. It's kind of like space wise, I'd rather have the one good one that will last me 10 years versus constantly spending money on things that the color fades, they don't wash well, especially with yoga. There's a lot of like friction involved. So like the seams need to be good. So I totally agree. And I'm totally on board. And I would on board with you. And I would say like going back to the stuff that we keep that maybe doesn't fit and we go shopping in our closets first. I think that's always great. I do think a lot of people hang on to a little bit too much stuff that maybe doesn't fit them and they think maybe they will fit into them one day. And I will say like I have two tips about that. One is just because I if something's older like and you do lose weight, it doesn't necessarily mean that the cut is going to be right for you. So it's not all about weight, like bodies just change regardless. Muscles change, like hips change over time. So, if you still have those super low ride jeans we used to wear like in college, like even if I lost 100 pounds, I would never wear those again because I'm all about the high waisted. I don't need like my underwear hanging out of my jeans. And the other thing too is like, listen, when you hit a milestone like that and you're like, wow, I really made a change in my life. I lost this amount of weight. You're going to want to go treat yourself anyway.
Treat
I mean,
yourself.
at least I would. So I'm a little bit like, let the olds go. If there's some things that you really love and you think they're going to be transitional in your life, go for it. But at the end of the day, you're going to want to maybe go buy yourself something new. So,
Yeah. I've
and
been
with
a
that, you.
I've been a Lululemon ambassador since I started teaching. It's been 10 years now, and I still have the first things that I bought. Like the
Me
only
too.
thing I've had to get rid of was a sports bra because I wore that thing to death. But I still have their shirts. I still have the same pants. Like they last forever.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I worked there. I think it was maybe 2010, I guess 2010, 11, around that time, and I still have all the clothes I bought there, and they're fine. Not one seam is undone. So
So Lululemon will take our commission now.
yes, seriously,
Okay, so we have a couple questions.
great.
So Brienne asked, how do you deal with that with people that are deep in the overwhelm of so much stuff, but they're clearly a bit emotional about it all? She said she's needed help and hired someone in the past and came home to anything she didn't know what to do with packed into her daughter's crib. She said, I figured if I put it here, it would force you to deal with it. And she
Oh,
said, if I had time to just deal with it, it wouldn't have been an issue. So now I'm nervous about bringing someone who isn't kind or understanding about the emotions surrounding it all. So I guess she's asking how you deal with,
yes.
go ahead.
Well, not knocking whoever you worked with, but that's like not really my style. But listen, some people love that boot camp approach. I'm not really like that. And I think it's because I do love clothes and I love things. So I'm very like every little piece is like a special thing. But at the same time, like you need to be realistic about things. And usually what I do is I never declutter anything on my own. Sometimes I'll organize. Sometimes my clients will be like, you know what, I'm going to work, put my closet back together. But I think that decluttering needs to be done together. Some people are okay doing it on their own, and then I might assign like homework, like go through these piles. Other people, it's really is an emotional thing, and that's the part that um, is challenging. It's not the actually, or sometimes the organizing takes 2 hours, the decluttering might take 12. So each case is different, but I think, I usually will just go through everything with you. You definitely need to be compassionate as an organizer, in my opinion. This is people's money, this is people's history, like there's no need in insulting it. But I will help kind of realize what is essential in your life versus things that maybe have it's time to let go of. Um, Another recommendation I have is if there's some type of charity that speaks to you, like, we're in Astoria, so I work a lot with Our Children's Shop. They help formerly incarcerated women come back into the real world and get their lives back together, and they need stuff. So I just find that when I tell my clients, like, this is going to help these women, they're like, please take it, because they know it's going to a good place. Other people are not fully trusting of where things are gonna, their stuff's gonna end up. So that's a big issue for them. So in my opinion, I feel like if you find a charity that you really, really love, you're gonna just end up being a bit more generous.
That's a really great that's a really great point that like if you say like all right, here's a dresser, it's going to get chucked into the garbage. And they're
Yeah,
like, this is my childhood dresser. Like I
yeah.
climbed up on top of this and my mom picked me up off of it. I don't know, and stuff. But if you know that it's going to have another life and
And
bring joy and happiness to somebody else and help people, then yeah, that's an excellent point.
And the word garbage is just such a like crappy word to use. Like I would never tell anyone their stuff is garbage unless, listen, something's really, really stained or really beyond repair. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it could, I'm realistic with some of that stuff, but for the most part, most things can be reused. Even old linens, towels, blankets, comforters, depends on the animal shelter. But I bring all those things to animal hospitals for people because they're constantly doing surgeries on animals, neutering, stuff like that. And they use all that material in the crates after. So again, when I tell my clients, like, I'm bringing this to Astoria Animal Hospital, Steinway Animal Hospital on Steinway Street, they're like, please, here, take it all. Oh, wait, what about these rags? They're just like, they
Help the
understand
puppies.
that
Help all
to
the puppies.
help the dogs. Like, I just don't want to like throw all my money into a garbage bag on the street, which is
Yeah.
like, that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. That's amazing. Oh, yay. So, one other question. Lindsay asked, how do you deal with flexible workspace now that school, home office, etc., are invading our homes?
So this has been extremely common hot topic since March. One piece of advice, I'm not sure where she lives, how much space that she has, but I can relate to Astoria, and small apartments, New York City spaces.
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing to keep in mind is that when the workday is done, do you want to still be staring at your pile of papers or your computer with all your work? Because I feel like that's like a constant reminder, like, should I be working or should I do something maybe that I could be doing tomorrow right now at 7 o'clock? It's dinner time. I think you need to be able to separate like work from life. So I recommend getting some type of containers that look really pretty, that they can be decorative. I mean, Home Goods has a bunch right now, whatever your price point is. Target has great stuff, Container Store, which is a little bit of a higher price point, but it's nice to be able to keep those things contained. And at the end of the workday, you can close up these boxes and maybe they're a nice, pretty wood wicker basket, but they sit on a desk somewhere, but work is done at 5 o'clock. I'm not looking at it anymore. And I think just getting into that habit, and the same with kids in their workspaces, a ton of people have been using those like rolling carts now. They're like 3-tier rolling rack. You can put folders on it, all their craft stuff, all their school supplies. It's on a cart. So when they're done, you put everything away and you can even roll that thing in a closet and not have to look at it. And these little things don't take a lot of time. You just have to build a new system for yourself and it's a new habit. But I think containing stuff will definitely be a good step to take.
That's an excellent piece of advice. And if you, yeah, it goes back to like having your home reflect you and the things that you love. So if you're all about that bamboo life and eco-friendly, or if you're all about floral, you're all about like
Yeah,
whatever patterns or things speak to you, can allow that dreaded like the work might be on the inside of the box, but the outside it's functional
exactly.
art
And
and it's
you
pretty.
need to separate, like, life work balance is important. And I just think you need to be able to be like, just like you close your office door and leave, or, you close the studio door, the computer's off, like, and you can detach yourself. But I just feel like when there's stuff all over the place, you really can't do that. And it's just adding more stress.
I really don't want to turn my camera around and show you my desk right now. It's just, it's a mess. We'll talk about that one later. But then this is kind of a good segue for me to ask you, like, for people listening, like, what's one thing they can do today to feel like they're taking the next, or at least the first step into feeling a little more organized?
So I know you and I both we're talking a lot about meditation, and this might sound a little like hippie-ish of me, but I just feel like do a walkthrough of your space and see how you physically feel. If you're feeling like, ugh, like this feels icky, or oh my gosh, I'm claustrophobic, or oh my gosh, this is stressful, I don't even want to look or deal with this, I think then if you're feeling those things, it's time to definitely make a change for sure. And another tip I have is, start with, some people like to say, start with a drawer or a space. I think a little bit more in categories, because books, for example, sometimes people have books all over the place, but maybe pick one category, whether it's office supplies, books, pantry, spices, something, and just do like a little edit. It's not going to take super long to do. It might even take literally like 5 minutes. I have like 10 spices. So even if I could just look through them, check expiration dates, ask myself, do I really even ever use this stuff? If the answer is no to a lot of things and you're really ready to let it go, like it'll take you just a few minutes to edit those things. So you can start with small categories like that through your house.
Yeah, I like the, sometimes there's a place for like woo woo yoga,
Yeah,
meditation,
I'm just all
ideas.
about the feeling like and it's funny, like even if my car has a lot of products in it, which is does when I get in and I'm just like, oh, I really just hate how this feels, but it is what it is because it's for my clients. So, but I just feel like one day I kind of was physically aware of how I was feeling in certain spaces and how it affected my mental state.
Yeah, and it's important. I love that that's your like one first step, because if you didn't hear that, you might walk into a room and feel like a change in your just general, like how you feel, that icky feeling, sick, frustrated, or whatever, and you might not know it's because of the space you're in. You might have thought it's the person in the room or whatever's on TV or something else. So just like recognizing that, like, the space itself is what's causing it, and knowing that, like, okay, so this is something I can change, because the whole theme of the year is like managing what we can change within our control, right? And letting go of the stuff that we can't. So speaking of the last year, tell me, I always love asking in our coffee talk, like, what was your favorite COVID or quarantine purchase, whether it was like a self care item or impulsively or fun or whatever?
So it's funny because my husband and I are not like the biggest cooks out there. We both are running around a lot. Like we definitely, I mean, I feel like I make breakfast the most consistently, but like lunch and dinner, I don't know. Sometimes I'm getting tacos around the corner and stuff. But COVID definitely forced us to like step up the cooking game, which resulted in stepping up the food shopping and the pantry stuff. And that's not something I always had a lot of. So I needed to kind of be strategic with making sure that space didn't overflow. And I also hate wasting and throwing out food. That's like another thing I noticed when I organize a lot of kitchens, like there's so much waste. Um, but I invested in, I wish I invented, but I invested in an alpha over the door system with, and I can send a pic, maybe we can post it, but it basically hangs over the back of my closet. I have like a hall closet that's like slash pantry slash some linens, but I was able to, they have like little baskets, and then I was able to put all like the backup pasta, the canned goods, all that stuff without it sort of overflowing my space. So I was super into, I was definitely into that purchase a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, we can totally drop the link in the comments of what that is. And speaking of dropping links, I want to make sure that everybody knows how to find you and your business, your Instagram, your website, and tell me a little bit about the podcast that you're
Yeah.
running.
So you can find me on Instagram. It's dream_organization. I have a ton of before and after pics on there, product recommendations, all that fun stuff. My website is dreamorganizationny.com. And I did start a podcast. It's about to be a year with my friend Deborah Russo, who is a closet designer for California Closets. She and I work together a lot because sometimes people need closet systems, sometimes people need professional organizers. So we literally started as like, let's start an organizing podcast. But it's crazy how it's evolved. And we are having like politicians, entrepreneurs, all these different people who talk about how organizing has helped their life. And also it's turned more into like lifestyle, planning your future. We're having an astrologer on this 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 tomorrow, actually. Yeah, tomorrow's Tuesday. It comes out every Tuesday. So tomorrow we have a new episode out with Rebecca Gordon. She's the astrologer for Harper's Bazaar magazine, and she's going to talk to us about which signs are the most organized and how like organizing and entrepreneurship planning for each sign differs. So yeah,
Oh, I want to hear about
yeah.
Aquarius.
And the podcast is called Two Girls One Closet Podcast. It's on Apple, Amazon. We also have Two Girls One Closet Podcast.com, our website. You can just listen directly on there. And yeah, it's been so much fun. I love doing it.
Oh, you know what was so much fun was hanging out with you this morning.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This was so fun.
So,
Uh,
Dr. Dre Montali, professional organizer slash rapper, founder of Dream Organization, and podcast host of Two Girls One Closet. Thanks so much for sharing your decaf coffee with us this morning. I can't wait to see how your business grows and becomes even more awesome in the next year. Um, it was an absolute delight, and I got to tell you that like neon green yellow sweater is just it's 100%, and I love it so much.
I just posted about that on it's funny, I got a newsletter article yesterday. It's like, what colors are out for 2021? And they had the nerve to say neon was, and I was like, I don't care. Like neon makes me feel tan, my teeth look white, I feel really pretty in it. I don't care. Like, don't always listen to the trends. Wear what you love.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that color too. So thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your coffee.
Thank you,
Cheers.
you too. Bye. See you soon. Cheers.
Cheers. All right. Take care, Drea.